I guess canonically, like with the timeline, Vinaya, while that's going on, do you have Vane or Orryn or Sato?
So I do actually also would like Vinaya wants to talk to Vane about specific Fae knowledge things, so I don't think we can do that without Jared.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
that might be something that we do next session or whatever. But yes, Vinaya would perhaps wander into Orryn's cabin. Yep.
If you walk in, you see that Orryn has placed 3 glasses on the table, and they're all 3 are full of alcohol.
Mm. Poor Orryn. Well, Vinaya.
Sorry, no, I should say 1 is in front of him, and 2 are on the other side of the table, like on the other side of the table.
Okay. Right. Well, Vinaya walks in pretty quiet. I mean, as quietly as she ever goes anywhere, which is not quietly at all, but not saying anything, at least.
Yeah, and actually, he's writing, just kind of at his desk.
Okay. And doesn't nudge the glass in front of you out of the way, but sets a cup of tea right next to it.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, that's very nice.
You're welcome.
How's it going?
Not good.
Really?
I don't really know how to react to what we've just done, and I've been trying to think about it and not really. I mean, it was bad. We shouldn't have done that.
Well, I mean, it was either that or die.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't want any of us to have died, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, I'm back.
What the right answer was, and I don't like for people to know that I don't have the right answer, which I suppose just speaks to the fact that Echo was completely correct about us, about me.
Oh, well, I mean, as far as not wanting people to know you don't have the right answer, yeah, I mean, if you embrace that, that's my whole personality. Like, set the front. I don't fucking know. What do you think? And that's pretty helpful.
I mean, sometimes it's a good quality to not to let other people know that you aren't perfect and they don't have to be perfect either.
I think it's a necessary quality. I think anybody that comes at you and says that they do know exactly what's going on is lying, wrong, or trying to sell you something.
Yeah. Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, I mean, that guy was an asshole.
No, he was. It's hard to even remember. But I do think I said something to the effect of it was not very, divine of him, his behavior, and I stand by that.
You scolded a god. That was awesome.
I don't know. I mean, it just seems to me that we should have known better somehow, but I'm hard pressed to think of how.
Yeah,
Vane evidently knew better, but Vane had the benefit of seeing us all struggling with Black Razor and with Wave, perhaps. And I think if I had known what Black Razor was like, I'm. No, I still would have.
taken Black Razor.
I still think maybe there's a way to teach it what's right. but I
No,
no
I
longer
agree.
think that I can do that.
Yeah, I mean these things, they they're not weapons. They're beings, and they just live a very long time. And from my experience with that so far, things that live a long time take a long time to do anything, learning included. I think luckily I happened to be syncing up with Wave right around the tail end of that journey, but Black Razor's got quite a while to go, and I'm not sure where the people that are going to take it there. But I think maybe we are, but if we're not, we're definitely an important part of that journey.
I mean, I'm committed to destroying it, if only to save other people from it. Uh,
Yeah. Or maybe, I mean, hey, I don't not want to speak on your religion, but maybe that's your, that could be your burden, as it were.
I already have a burden. I don't want more burdens.
Nobody ever does. Yeah, I don't know. I
You
was
could look.
already to send him into the oblivion, but I think I'd feel bad about it now. Not that I'd stop you, but
You had an opportunity to do that to Wave, and you didn't. And is that's because you think that you can teach teach it the the right path, a better path?
well, I think I don't know what the right path is or a better path is, but maybe it's the same thing as I'm about to say. But I thought maybe I could just help him. Wave, I hope you don't take any offense to this, but be a little bit less of a dick about things sometimes. I don't know if I ever told you guys, but Wave wanted me to like kill a bunch of people, and not like
Why?
for no reason. It was like, hey, we should convert the crew, and I was like, well, what if the crew doesn't convert? And then it's like, well, then they're non-believers that should be killed. And I was like, that's not cool, Wave. People should get to do what they want. And I was able to, I won that argument, and I've won it enough times that, and now especially seeing that again, Wave. I apologize for this. I know you're not ready to talk, but uh, now that they've seen that their existence was a lie, uh, I don't know what's going to happen next. But I know that the reason that I didn't kill them or hand them over was because I saw that they had the potential, just like anybody else who's done shitty things or had shitty thoughts, to end up somewhere better. And while he didn't really stand up to that, that kind of was the whole point of the God of Roads thing, I thought. That's part of the reasons I'm not super bummed that he's dead. If you're gonna say something, do that.
Did you worship the god of roads before Wave?
Oh no, I've lived my whole life kind of ending up places, and hearing somebody else say like, "Yeah, me too." I was like, "Well, cool. Let's talk about this. I'm on board with that." It was kind of like a if someone comes along and says, "How would you like to keep doing what you're doing, but you've got a cool weapon and somebody to talk to about it?" I was like, "Well, fuck yeah, let's do it." But I feel like yeah, I don't know. He just wasn't what I expected. But I can't say I'm really disappointed because I wasn't really ever in it for the god. It was the message, and I can't
Hmm.
kill that if I wanted to.
It's hard for me to imagine that the god and the message can be so easily separated.
Gods don't say what we do. If anything, uh, especially after killing one and me still being able to do stuff, I feel like maybe we set what the gods can do. Enough people tell somebody you're God, they're God, maybe they become one. Enough people say, if I pray to you, I'll get power, maybe they get power. And maybe it's just kind of this weird feedback loop where someone's got to be the receiving end of it. I mean, you were saying something about your recliner, Shepard. They weren't a person from beyond the stars. They were just a person at
Oh
one point.
no, a person who who learned,
Yeah, and
a person who reached enlightenment. Anyone can do that.
Yeah, which means that while they're a god, they're kind of just a person who teaches, and they're not. While their message is one thing, they're a different thing.
But she lived and lives still in us, her message.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think that. I think metaphorically, she lives in her message through you. You teach the things that she taught and that she cared about, and those messages. But and you draw power through that. But I please don't take this as me saying that it's a similar situation at the God of Rhodes. But I just think it's, while she may be all of those things, I don't think the fact that that message exists means that inherently she is. I think she, like the rest of us, can choose to be one thing or another. I think the God of Rose could choose to be one thing or another. Or I could be completely wrong about this whole thing. I'm just me.
I mean, if that wasn't her, if that wasn't who she was, she wouldn't have become a god.
I guess I'm not saying that's not who she was, because that makes sense that she was that. I guess I just mean because she was that and that's the message that's gone out, that doesn't necessarily mean that's who she is. That doesn't mean it's not. But I just don't think the two are connected forever. I think a living thing changes and ideas take on a life of their own. I hope I haven't offended you in any of this. I'm
no.
Still, I sound nonchalant, but I am still processing the death of a ethereal being on X. Well, I guess it was on purpose, but
it was pretty on purpose. Yeah.
Well, it was on purpose in that we hit him, but it was on accident in that I didn't mean to kill him. I guess I didn't expect to kill him, which might be a different thing. I don't know. I thought we hit him enough to leave or change or. When someone says, "Be careful, you'll kill God," you kind of just go, "Right," and you walk away. You don't be like, "Oh, yeah, I'll be careful how hard I hit God in the face in case he dies." Like, but yeah, no, I think the thing that I'm taking away from this is that the message is important, and that shouldn't be discarded just because the God was an ass, and that you should put the faith in the message of a religion and not in the idea that there is somebody pulling all the strings that's gonna, make things better when they're bad. It's up to the people who carry that message to set the tone for it, not for the God to just. The fact that you carry the message should portray the message. It shouldn't be that the message is right because the God is right. Am I making sense?
I think so. I think so. I don't know what to think anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, we're working through some shit this time, huh?
I didn't think things could get very much worse.
Well, on the plus side, at least we know how bad it can get now. Like, we still got 4 gods left. So we're only 1/5 of the way to the. And hey, maybe if we kill all of them, everything just goes back into balance,
I'm not sure that I want to find that out quite yet.
No, it'll take time, but I think we can work our way down the list. I don't actually think we should go kill all the gods, but yeah, no, I think it's changed my view of what they are and what we are and what that relationship actually is. It might be going in a different direction than everybody thinks.
Do you think Echo is effectively a god?
I mean, no, I would say not. Because I think that we could kill Echo without specially magically crafted god-killing weapons. But I don't know if whether or not you can. Well, I don't think whether or not you can kill something should determine if it's God or not. But I think they could be one day, if left unchecked and allowed to. I mean, heck, if all those gods were gone and Echo was all that was left, I mean, effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Orryn kind of downs the rest of the tea. Yeah. But hey, I mean, you're doing good. You've been kicking ass for the shepherd for quite a while, so at least you're in their good graces.
I think I'm reincarnating in hell when I die.
Well,
I don't think that any good I can do changes that at this point.
Nah, that's at least it'll be warm. Doesn't rain much. But nah, no, that's if Vinaya is going to hell, everybody's going to hell. That's
I've at this point done quite a bit worse than most people. But I knew that was a possibility when I started this journey.
Have you though? I mean, we haven't killed any innocents.
I've killed so many people. I
didn't say people. I said innocents.
I killed an innocent, that fisherwoman.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't know how it works semantically as far as going to heaven or hell, but that was technically Black Razor.
It was no. I mean, Black Razor may have landed the blow, but I knew that was a risk when I walked out that night. I knew that if I failed, that's what would happen. And I knew that I could fail, and I still did it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you... well, here's some irony for you. I think if you justified it like I just tried to, you'd be in a rougher spot. But I think the fact that it weighs so heavy on you, and probably will until you die, says something about where you're ended up versus where I potentially am. And where it kicks back a second glass and refills it.
I think at that point it's what is it that you say in common? It's splitting hairs.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, heck, given the way things go, I'm gonna die before you do, so I'll try and put in a good word with whoever's waiting there.
I don't know so much about that.
How many sheep have you turned into underwater?
Well, none so far.
And how many times a week do you explode and burst into flames?
Admittedly, average of 0.
We could be a team of librarians, and I would probably be in just as much danger as I am right now. Just this whole shit. I fucking blew Vinaya. I can't get drunk for some reason. I don't know why.
You don't know why?
It just happens. I mean, Gran said I was tied into the fabric of kind of how magic works, and that generally people either, get killed or explode.
I suppose I always thought that there was. Well, I mean, there must be a reason, but I thought that you knew.
Oh God, no! Magic's never. The two weird things that have always been a part of me is I can do magic and it doesn't work.
It works most of the time.
Yeah, the cleric stuff, the religion-y stuff, the healing stuff, that works pretty consistently. I've never had anything go wrong with that, but yeah, it's just like a feeling like I can aim it and I can get the thing I want to have happen, but I can't stop it at that point. Like there's always something else that sputters out. It's pretty cool. Sometimes it's bad, but sometimes it's nice. Sometimes I can't get drunk. Sometimes I turn into a sheep. Sometimes I can't die for a while afterwards.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know, it's pretty weird.
So, how do you know that?
I don't know.
Have you just sort of know?
Yeah, no, I just, you know. It's like, yeah, I don't know. It's like knowing when, it's like, it's just one of those, like breathing or blinking, you know, those things that you just, they just are. I just am.
Well, I'm glad that you just are.
Well, thank you very
Because
much.
there are very few people that I would rather have on this weird, upsetting, incomprehensible journey.
I can think of 5. And he kicks back another thing. And if you go to hell, I'm going to go down there. I'm going to kill the devil. I can do it. You tell him.
I mean, don't worry too much. I'll reincarnate out of it eventually.
Well, there's that.
That's the idea anyway. It might take me a while, but that's the idea.
You'll figure it out.
Thank you for letting me talk.
Yeah. Anytime. He kind of lifts his glass and then, assuming that there's no other things, kind of goes back to writing.
Yep. Vinaya stands up, leaves.